If you are listening to this right now, take a deep breath. Not because this is just another video, but because moments like this don't happen by accident. You didn't click this by chance. You weren't scrolling randomly. This message found you, quietly, deliberately, because something in your spirit is awake. There is a weight on this word, a seriousness, a holy responsibility. Because what God is placing in your hands is not small. It is not common. And it is not safe in the hands of the proud, the reckless, or the unsubmitted. This message is for the chosen ones. Those God trusts. Those heaven watches. Those hell notices. God is trusting you with a power too dangerous for the wrong hands. And before this power manifests openly, God must first speak to your heart. So stay with me. Listen slowly. Let this go deeper than your ears. Power has always existed, but not everyone is trusted with it. In Scripture, power is never given casually. It is entrusted, tested, refined. God does not fear power, but He is deeply cautious about who carries it. Because power in the wrong hands destroys. Power mixed with ego corrupts. Power without intimacy becomes manipulation. That's why God often hides His strongest vessels. David was anointed long before he was crowned. Joseph carried destiny while sitting in prison. Moses held divine authority while tending sheep. Notice the pattern. Before God uses you publicly, He empties you privately. Before He releases power through you, He breaks the parts of you that would misuse it. If you've ever wondered why your journey has felt slower, heavier, lonelier, it's not punishment. It's preparation. Let's speak honestly. Spiritual power is not cute. It's not aesthetic. It's not for entertainment. True spiritual power disrupts systems. It exposes darkness. It shifts atmospheres. And that's exactly why it's dangerous. When God trusts someone with power, He is trusting them with influence over lives, minds, and destinies. That's why pride is so dangerous. That's why hidden sin delays activation. That's why character matters more than charisma. God will never empower someone who wants to be seen more than they want Him to be glorified. If power came early, it would destroy you. If influence came before surrender, it would poison you. So God waits. He watches. He tests. Not to withhold, but to protect. Let's slow this down for a moment. Because before God ever releases power through a person, He releases awareness within them. These signs are not loud. They are not flashy. And they rarely look impressive to the world. But if you recognize yourself here, it is because God has already begun trusting you. When you think about what God has placed in you, you don't feel hype. You feel responsibility. You don't pray, God, use me so I can be seen. You pray, God, don't let me mishandle this. There is a seriousness in your spirit. A holy fear, not fear of people, but fear of misrepresenting God. You understand that power is not a reward. It is a burden. And that awareness alone is a sign of trust. Because people who are not ready for power fantasize about it. Those who are ready respect it. Things that once entertained you no longer satisfy you. Small talk feels draining. Surface level faith feels empty. Religious performance feels hollow. You crave depth, even when it costs you comfort. You want truth, not trends. Presence, not popularity. And sometimes this makes you feel disconnected from others. You don't hate people. You just can't pretend anymore. This is not spiritual pride. It is spiritual hunger. God does not entrust deep power to shallow appetites. This one hurts. You speak from conviction, but people hear criticism. You move differently, so they assume you think you're better. Your silence gets misinterpreted. Your boundaries offend others. But the truth is, what God is building in you doesn't fit inside familiar religious boxes. You are not rebellious. You are obedient. And obedience often looks strange. to those who are comfortable. God trusts people who can endure misunderstanding without becoming bitter. Not everyone is invited into your process. There are seasons where your phone is quiet, your circle becomes smaller, your solitude becomes louder, and at first, it feels like abandonment. But it's actually instruction. God speaks clearest when distractions are removed. Isolation is where discernment sharpens, motives are exposed, ego dies quietly. Public platforms reveal power, private places build it. You don't just see sin, you feel the grief behind it. You don't celebrate success if it costs integrity. You feel heaviness in places where others feel excitement. This is not weakness. It is spiritual sensitivity. God allows you to feel deeply because you are meant to carry others gently. Power without compassion crushes people. Power with compassion restores them. And God trusts those who can feel without becoming hard. Let's be honest. You've been through things you never talk about. Betrayal, loss, delay, silence from God that felt unbearable. Moments where quitting would have made sense. But you're still here. Not because you were strong, but because something stronger was sustaining you. God does not waste pain. Every wound you survived became wisdom. Every tear became training. And those who endure quietly are often trusted loudly by heaven. You don't move impulsively anymore. You pray before speaking. You wait before reacting. You listen more than you explain. The urgency that once drove you has been replaced with discernment. You'd rather miss an opportunity than miss God. This slowness is not delay. It is precision. God trusts people who don't panic under pressure. This is deep. You feel responsible for a future calling. Before it arrives, you guard your heart. You protect your integrity. You watch your thoughts. Not because someone is watching, but because God is trusting you. You are preparing for rooms you haven't entered yet. Battles you haven't fought yet. Lives you haven't touched yet. This awareness is evidence. This is the clearest sign. You are not perfect, but you are loyal. You may stumble, but you never walk away. You may question, but you don't abandon. Your heart says, God, take anything. Just don't take your presence. And that posture is what power is built upon. If your spirit felt exposed, if your heart felt seen, if your tears surprised you, it's because God is already at work. You are not imagining this. You are not behind. You are not overlooked. You are being trusted. And what God trusts you with is not small. But before it becomes visible, it must remain pure. Stay ready. Stay hidden. Stay faithful. Because the power God is forming in you is too dangerous for the wrong hands. And heaven knows your hands are being prepared. Some people want power to feel important. Others want it to control. Some want it to be admired. But God looks for something else. He looks for obedience over applause, purity over popularity, submission over ambition. Power without humility becomes abuse. Power without love becomes cruelty. Power without God becomes destruction. That's why many are gifted, but not trusted. God would rather delay you than destroy you with premature access. Let's be real. Being trusted by God is not glamorous. It often means you can't explain your journey to others. You outgrow rooms before you're ready. You feel isolated even among people. You sense things others don't. This loneliness isn't rejection. It's consecration. God separates what He intends to saturate with His presence. And yes, there are nights when you question everything. Moments when you ask God, why me? But hear this clearly. God doesn't choose the strong. He strengthens the chosen. Let's talk about the fight. Because once you understand why the war started, you stop blaming yourself for surviving it. For a long time, you thought something was wrong with you. You questioned your faith. You wondered if you missed God. You replayed your mistakes, searching for answers. But what if the resistance wasn't correction? What if it was confirmation? The opposition you faced didn't begin when you stepped out publicly. It began quietly, early, before you even understood who you were becoming. There were attacks on your peace, on your identity, on your confidence. Not because you were dangerous then, but because you would be later. The enemy doesn't wait until power is visible. He tries to eliminate it while it's still forming. That's why the battle felt premature, unfair, confusing. But heaven saw something hell was afraid of. No recognition, no platform, no clear role, just pressure. You were in spiritual warfare. Before you had spiritual language for it. Fighting emotions you couldn't explain. Carrying weight you couldn't name. That's why it exhausted you. You were trained in battle. Before you were taught strategy. But this wasn't neglect. It was conditioning. God was strengthening your spiritual endurance. Long before your assignment became clear. The enemy didn't just attack your opportunities. He attacked your heart. Relationships were strained. Trust was broken. Your sense of belonging was shaken. You weren't just fighting circumstances. You were fighting discouragement. Because if the enemy could make you believe you were alone, unqualified, or forgotten, you would walk away on your own. And that would cost heaven what it placed in you. It wasn't one battle. It was layers. Just when one area stabilized, another one collapsed. Peace in one season, pressure in the next. This wasn't random. The enemy doesn't attack randomly. He attacks strategically. He looks for pressure points. Your compassion, your loyalty, your patience, and he applies stress until something breaks. But here's the truth. Nothing broke. You bent. You cried. You questioned. But you did not quit. And that alone tells the story. Let's pause here. You are still breathing. Still praying, even if it's quiet. Still hoping, even if it's tired. That wasn't luck. That was grace. The enemy expected bitterness. He expected compromise. He expected you to give up on God. But you didn't. And every time you survived something that was meant to silence you, your spiritual authority increased. You didn't just endure the war. You outgrew it. Some lessons only come through fire. Through the war you learned how to stand alone with God, how to hear Him without confirmation, how to trust Him without explanation. You learned that His presence doesn't leave in chaos. You learned that faith isn't loud. It's loyal. And now your relationship with God is not built on emotion. It's built on experience. Pay attention to this. The intensity is changing. Not because the enemy is tired, but because your season is changing. You're no longer fighting to survive. You're learning how to walk in authority. What once overwhelmed you no longer controls you. The same attacks that used to break you now expose the enemy's tactics. You see more clearly. You recover faster. You stand stronger. That's not coincidence. That's growth. Here's the revelation. The war wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to filter you. To remove pride, dependence on people, false confidence, and to build discernment, endurance, intimacy with God. Many wanted the power. Few survived the process. And the process chose you. So now you understand. The resistance wasn't random. The pain wasn't pointless. The delay wasn't denial. You were being trained in warfare. Because you are being trusted with peace. You were refined under pressure. Because what God will release through you must not crack under weight. The war against you makes sense now. And the fact that you're still standing means the enemy already lost. The moment you refuse to walk away, stay steady, Stay surrendered. Because the season ahead will require the strength you earned in the battle. And this time, you're not just surviving, you're stepping forward. God is training your hands. He's teaching you how to listen before acting, how to discern spirits, not just words, how to forgive without becoming passive, how to stand without becoming arrogant. This power is not emotional. It is anchored. It doesn't react. It responds. It doesn't force doors open. It waits for divine timing. And when it moves, heaven backs it. This part is serious. Do not rush God. Do not envy others. Do not compromise for shortcuts. Every shortcut costs you authority. Every compromise leaks power. Stay clean. Stay humble. Stay submitted. The enemy would rather distract you than defeat you, because distracted power is neutralized power. Now receive this. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not disqualified. What God placed in you will not be wasted. I declare, your discernment will sharpen. Your obedience will deepen. Your authority will rise quietly. Your impact will be undeniable. Doors will open without forcing. Favor will speak where words cannot. And when you step forward, you will carry peace, not pride, because God trusts you. Before you leave this moment, before you scroll, before life rushes back in, pause, because something has shifted. You may not be able to explain it, but your spirit recognizes it. This wasn't just a message you listened to. It was a reminder of who you are, a reminder of what you carry, a reminder of why your journey has never looked ordinary. You didn't receive facts today. You received alignment. God wasn't trying to impress you. He was drawing you closer. This message wasn't meant to excite your emotions. It was meant to steady your soul. Because what He is preparing you for does not require hype. It requires maturity. And maturity begins when you understand that power is not something you chase. It is something you steward. There is a quiet line being crossed. Not externally. Internally. You are no longer questioning whether God is doing something in you. You are now responsible for how you respond to it. This is the season where obedience matters more than clarity, where faith matters more than feelings, where consistency matters more than visibility. The old ways of thinking will not follow you forward. And that's okay. Hear this clearly. The next move of God in your life will not announce itself. It will unfold. There will be no sudden spotlight, no dramatic applause, just doors opening, without resistance, just favor finding you, without explanation, just authority resting on you, without striving, because God trusts you now, and what God trusts, He protects. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to compete. You are not behind. Timing is protecting you. Every moment of waiting is sealing something in you that cannot be shaken later. Stay clean in heart. Stay faithful in secret. Stay sensitive to God's voice. The future you're walking into will require the integrity you're developing now. Remember this. What God is trusting you with is not meant to make you impressive. It is meant to make you effective. Lives will feel safer around you. Confusion will quiet down in your presence. Darkness will lose its grip without you saying a word. This power doesn't demand attention. It carries peace. And peace is a weapon. You will be tempted to doubt this moment, to minimize it, to move on too quickly. Don't. Let it settle. Let it root. Let it shape how you pray, how you speak, how you choose. Because this was not the end of a video. It was the beginning of awareness. You are not forgotten. You are not delayed. You are not disqualified. You are being trusted. What God has placed in you is powerful, and it is protected. And when the time comes, you will step forward without fear, without pride, without hesitation, because you will know. This was always His work. This is only the beginning. Stay ready. Stay humble. Stay close. And when the next message finds you, you'll understand why this one had to come first. Chosen one, before you go, I want to speak to the givers, the ones whose hearts feel called to pour back into the vessel that pours into them. If this message awakened you, if it strengthened you, if it spoke to your spirit in a way only heaven could orchestrate, then I invite you, only if your heart feels led, to sow a $1 seed into this channel. Not because God needs it, but because giving is a spiritual law. A small seed carries big obedience. And God multiplies what is given with pure intention. Your $1 keeps this ministry alive, keeps the messages flowing, and helps this word reach the next chosen one who needs it. If you feel that nudge in your spirit, if you feel that gentle pull, you can plant your $1 seed using the link in the description. And if you can't or don't feel led, you are still loved, still seen, and still covered. Blessings to every giver, and blessings to every listener. Your seed moves heaven in ways you may never see. But God sees it all.